I'm not usually someone who does consistent clears of Fire Emblem chapters, but I've always enjoyed watching them, and I've wanted to try my hand at one for a while. Chapter 10 of my current Engage playthrough ended up being a good opportunity for that. My strategy is far from optimal, and probably not replicable in any meaningful way, but I think it resulted in a pretty cool clear that I wanted to share, so here it is.
My will is firm.
Saline is paired with Soren.
Please grant me your strength.
Flare enables NOS tanking with any tome, and Saline will clear the entire right side of the map this turn, Goldmary included.
All flowers eventually wilt.
Killing the armor on player phase allows her to canter into Goldmary's range.
I'm prepared.
Lapis takes out Rosado. Even if he crits her, she just shrugs it off.
Now I've done it.
Go ahead.
Yunaka takes out a flyer.
Was that too much?
She also positions herself to take on the mage on enemy phase.
I'm ready.
Alir is paired with Marth.
Here goes. Lend me your strength.
Divine Speed allows him to kill the armor without relying on Diamant's chain attack.
My I had to stop you. Yes.
You got it. This item is not for sale.
Camilla's Soar gives Anna extra move, letting her take out the other flyer. She then canters into the range of the enemy Cavalier. Anna's also in range of the enemy mage, but 24 resistance means the mage sees 0 damage and she'll attack Yunaka instead.
Allow me.
Emblem, engage.
Citrine engages now to start running down the clock.
You got it.
I'm listening.
Chloe takes care of the mage on the artillery. With a javelin, she can canter out of Hortensia's freeze range afterwards.
I'm ready to dig in. Simple enough.
If that isn't overkill, I don't know what is. Avoiding Hortensia's range isn't just to save one freeze staff charge. This entire clear, or the first half of it anyway, was designed around the specific Hortensia kill I'm going for. This requires defeating Hortensia on the turn she's provoked, so we have to stay out of her freeze range until then. As a bonus, this avoids the first set of reinforcements entirely.
Another kill for me.
This combat is the only part of the turn that has a non-zero chance of failure. If Saline misses either attack, she can't kill Goldmary. Even an Ignis proc on the attack that hits falls 1 point short on damage.
All in a day's work.
Most of this turn is positioning, but we'll be getting both chests too. Saline also kills the thief, and canters out of freeze range.
All flowers eventually wilt.
To open a chest while staying out of Hortensia's range, you have to do it from one of the flyer-only squares. Soar allows Anna to do that. Yunaka engages and mends Lapis if she took damage. Lapis can get damaged again next turn fairly easily. Chloe gets the other chest. And now, the turn I built this clear around. Saline starts things off with a Cataclysm.
Out of my way.
Ideally, she doesn't proc Ignis on Hortensia, but if she does, it's not the end of the world. It just means Alir misses out on taking damage. Fortunately, that doesn't happen.
Emblem, engage!
I want Alir to finish off Hortensia's first HP bar with Mercurius, but he's too far away. A contract from Alchrist lets Saline rescue Alir into place. Problem solved. Alir attacks Hortensia with Mercurius. Hit rates aren't great on either side here. Alir has extra dexterity from strength training in the Somniel, a dexterity augment on Mercurius, a luck tonic, and his hit rate is still 83%. Hortensia missing Alir is annoying, but okay, but Alir needs to land both hits here.
Whoa, engage!
Amber would normally break the flyer, but you can avoid that and face a counterattack by using Roy's Lance Reaver. Lapis attacks the left armor with her javelin. I want to avoid killing the armor for reasons that will soon become clear, but it's hard to find a weapon that manages that.
I will protect everyone. I won't let this go to my head.
Also, that can happen. That's what rewinds are for, I guess. Citrine finally gets to do something.
Not about to stop here.
Warp Ragnarok drops Hortensia to low health, and Resonance means Citrine also loses a point of HP. Crucially, it also advances the RNG, so Lapis can try to get injured again. Not quite what I was looking for. Chloe can advance the RNG one last time by attacking the armor on the right. As long as she doesn't kill, that is.
I've had my eye on you.
I'm not gonna lie, hearing that crit quote had me worried for a moment. Third time's the charm. Citrine's going to take damage again at the start of the next turn, so this mend is just free EXP. With Hortensia damaged and on her final health bar, everything is set up perfectly for Anna to get a Hurricane Axe, Dark Inferno pentakill.
Time to play.
That was awesome. Setting up this moment is why I planned out this chapter as much as I did. I wasn't intending to do the whole chapter, but once I'd figured out the Dark Inferno kill, I asked myself, why stop there? And so, I didn't. Figuring out all the necessary details and making the minor adjustments needed to go from a simple idea to a reliable strategy was fun as hell. Taking that strategy and building it into a full map clear was even more enjoyable, and I learned a couple new things about how this game works in the process. This clear is meant to fit into my current Engage playthrough, which isn't at all as planned out or consistent as this was. As a result, this isn't likely to be particularly replicable outside of this specific setup. It's not meant to be a guide or a reusable strategy, it's just a cool clear from my playthrough that I wanted to share. The main point of that playthrough is to try out builds I've seen people do, use units I'm not as familiar with, and just explore aspects of the game I don't know as well as some others. A secondary objective was to play through the game with male Alir, since this is my 5th playthrough of this game and I somehow hadn't done that yet, and I wanted to hear the voice acting. I know auto-skipping cutscenes and map dialogue doesn't mesh with hearing the voice acting. I normally don't have that enabled, it's something I did specifically for showcasing this clear. Making Saline viable long-term is something I've wanted to do since probably my 2nd playthrough of Engage, and just never have. Long-term Yunaka is a more recent curiosity, but still fits the idea of this more exploratory playthrough. If you watch Perovskite's excellent series, Expertly Enjoying Engage, you probably recognize a couple more of these builds, and, incidentally, some of the ideas in Turn 1 of this clear. Great Knight Lapis is of course one of them, and, well, come on, how could I not? Have you seen how incredible that red armor looks on her? Giving Anna a Hurricane Axe is another one of the things from that series that I thought looked fun, though I didn't get one from the Ancient Well and had to forge it from the expansion pass's Silver Axe instead. Terribly inefficient use of resources? Yes. Fun as all hell and worth every bit of golden ore needed to forge it? Also yes. I regret nothing. That pentakill was peak. Side note, if you haven't seen Expertly Enjoying Engage, you should go watch it. It's sort of like this kind of clear, except it's a full game playthrough with all the short-term and long-term planning that entails, and it's done by someone who knows a lot more about the game than I do. It doesn't just show off gameplay either. Cutscenes aren't skipped, and a lot of the unique battle dialogue is included. It's truly a showcase of Engage. It's also just really good, and you should go watch it. I'll put a link to the playlist in the description. For now, let's get back to the clear. We're halfway through. You've seen the first 3 turns, and there's only 3 turns left. I hope you enjoy. There's some anti-synergy with Citrine's personal skill that I need to play around. She needs to recharge Celica with favorite food, but Yunaka is about to use Great Sacrifice, so Citrine needs to move first. But if she's adjacent to anyone when she eats, she'll also heal them, reducing the experience gained from Great Sacrifice. 28 EXP isn't exactly the kind of massive experience gain Micaiah is usually known for, but it's not nothing. I'm planning on using Yunaka long-term this playthrough, so every little bit helps, and if everything goes well, she'll hit level 20 by the end of this map. Alir and Saline recharge Marth and Soren. Diamant and Amber move forward. Amber finishes what Alir started and breaks down the door. Alchrist moves his full movement and uses Fortify Plus. Yunaka is on the heal tile, so this isn't necessary, but it's experience, SP, and bond rank for Alchrist.
Let's go together.
Lapis engages and equips Failnaught. She'll take out Morian's first health bar on enemy phase.
Here I go.
I'll cut you down to size. Who's next?
A completely unnecessary crit, but points for style. Yunaka takes the last Emblem energy tile and recharges Micaiah. Alchrist uses another unnecessary Fortify Plus. I have no plans to use him this playthrough, but there's no reason not to get the extra EXP, SP, and bond rank. Chloe uses the Great Lance to get injured, even though she OHKOs.
I'm sorry.
I know it says Astral Storm damage 35 in the corner. Don't worry about it.
Emblem engage.
Saline doesn't need to engage this turn, but in a previous version of the clear she did. She uses Assign Decoy, which is about to be very useful for a couple of reasons. Diamant smashes a corrupted. Anna does the same to take damage even though she Okos. I'd like to say I calculated that Anna moved the 3% crit.
Tough, you know.
I would be lying. This was the first time I noticed that crit chance. But hey, if the crit doesn't kill, this still counts as reliable. Lapis takes out the Martial Master with Fallen Star before cantering into range of Hyacinth's
I will
group.
protect everyone! I won't let this go to my head.
Amber tries to get damaged from Morian. He does, so his cancer location isn't relevant, but it is an inaccuracy. If he had gone northeast instead, he'd be able to attack a flyer at 1 range next turn for 1 more chance at taking damage if Morian hadn't hit.
Emblem, engage!
Alir takes the Morian kill with Mercurius. If he gets hit by the 21%, that's a bonus, but Yunaka should hit level 20 even if he doesn't. Assign Decoy, Fallen Star, and Maddening enemy AI interact in some interesting ways. Fallen Star makes your incoming hit rate and damage both 0 in your next combat, and enemies on Maddening normally won't attack a unit if they can't hit or can't do damage. Assign Decoy bypasses this, so the mage attacks Lapis regardless.
I won't waste this chance!
That's overkill fail not crit number
I
3.
won't let this go to my head.
Assign Decoy is active for 3 combats. The flyers can't reach Lapis to attack her, so it's still active when Hyacinth chooses a target for Astrostorm. I don't know why, but the sound of 5 back-to-back tinks is so funny to me.
It's just like my fairy tales.
Chloe finally gets to engage, and gets a maximum momentum Steel Great Lance override on Hyacinth.
Here I come! On guard!
Still good.
Amber and Anna each take out a flyer. They're both already injured, so they fight at 2 range for safety.
That settles it.
I refuse to cry.
Anna could use the Hurricane Axe at 1 range to get injured if she had full health, and with adjusted canter positioning last turn, Amber could 1 range with the Javelin if Morian had missed his attack. For the second time this map, Saline teleports Alir so he can take out someone's first health bar with Mercurius. She canters downward into Alchrist's range. One last use of Contract lets her use Bolting on the Martial Monk.
May I call on you?
A Warp Ragnarok from Citrine finishes her off.
My apologies. Take this! I claim this victory.
Stand down or perish. For all our sake.
Diamant uses Divine Blessing on Saline. Just like with Alchrist and Fortify Plus, this does nothing except earn experience, SP, and bond rank on a unit I have no plans to use. Lodestar Rush gives Alir 100% hit, and since Mercurius is 1 range, I'm not even missing a chance for Alir to take damage.
Fate has brought us here. This is it! I had to stop you.
Emblem, engage!
There's just enough time left for one last great sacrifice.
I have no choice.
And there's the level up I was looking for. Finally, Hoses Unite from Lapis is enough to finish off the map.
I'll strike you down.
I cannot accept this.
It's fitting that Anna gets MVP here. It was her Dark Inferno pentakill that made this clear happen in the first place. This is my first time making a video like this, but hopefully not the last. The rest of this playthrough is probably going to be closer to my usual improvisational playstyle, but if a good opportunity for another chapter like this happens, I won't pass it up. And now that I have done a planned out clear like this, I definitely want to do more of them. Maybe that's what I'll do on my next playthrough of Engage. If I do end up doing that, then I'll definitely record it. In addition to more Fire Emblem clears, I have some other videos that I also want to make. There's at least 2 Kingdom Hearts videos I want to make, proper videos, not just gameplay footage like what's already on this channel, and there's a challenge run for another game I love that I've put quite a bit of planning into. I have yet to actually do the run, but I really want to make a proper video about that once I do. And I don't know if either of those will happen before or after I get around to more Fire Emblem. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this clear as much as I enjoyed making it, and I'll see you next time.